Waiting for my computer to say I'm live. There. Okay, I think I'm officially live in our group. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Friday. If you're just popping in, I would love you to say hello to me. I would love to see who's watching this now. And also, if you're watching replay, say replay. I always love engaging with you guys and hearing your comments and your insights in all of this. Yeah, say what's up to me. How are you? Where are you? So you guys, clearly I'm Brittany Shawley. Today, this is now the fourth week where I'm going live at 12 noon on Fridays. For the last 3 weeks, I have been offering you guys an Ask Me Anything, and it's been powerful and it's been potent, and you guys have reached out to me a lot, even in Messenger, with your gratitude and how you've been applying it to your life, and I'm just beyond grateful that you guys are applying what I'm teaching here and seeing the results, so that makes me very happy. And the more I started to contemplate what I wanted to do as a discussion for today, I decided to look back on the questions you guys asked me and also what's nearest and dearest to my heart. And I really started recognizing that the threads that really were consistent in everything that you guys asked was the ideas of bringing spirituality into our food. And got happy children over here. And to really look at our food from a perspective of love and of nourishment versus from a perspective of fear or just because we got to feed the body. So I wanted to really dive more deeply into understanding how it is that we can make our meals each day, not just for the physicality of making sure that we're fed, but also for the soul nourishment, for the spiritual nourishment that will ultimately really bring change to our children and to our planet, because we're including everyone in this process, not just ourselves. Oh, hey, Anshuman, thank you for being here, darling. Good to see you. A lot of your questions helped to inspire this today, so I'm glad that you're here. So the first thing that I wanted to do here was to go through 5 steps of discovering how to embody both physical and spiritual qualities in our food. But these 5 steps are found in the book of Macrobiotics. Have you guys heard of this before? I've shared a lot on this previously, not as much in this group, but I've shared a lot about this in my work. And I'm just going to read you the first sentence of how the macrobiotic way of life perceives things, because this book of Macrobiotics is written by Michio Kushi. He's from Japan, and it's also entitled The Universal Way of Health and Happiness. And so let's read what it says here. It says, the macrobiotic way of life respects food as the essence of all surroundings, including the physical and the spiritual environment, and treats it as a spiritual manifestation of the universe, as well as recognizing its physical value. So, in short, this is basically just telling us that food is part of our spiritual essence and everything that surrounds us. And, you know, food guides our actions many times throughout the day. I mean, we can't get through a day without eating 3 times a day, right? So it's a deeply ingrained part of who we are and who we be as spiritual beings. But he also recognizes the physical aspects of the food we eat and how important it is to be conscious about the physical food that we eat. So I want to go through this today, but I want to say that this talk is also something you don't have to necessarily watch my face. This is something that you can listen to in your earbuds when you're washing the dishes, or you're cooking dinner, or you're just in the car. And so I want you to know that this doesn't have to add more time to your plate, but that you can watch this when you're doing all the other small tasks that our daily life consists of. So I just wanted to offer that to you. I'm a big fan of having earbuds in my ear and cleaning and cooking. So let's dive in, and I'm going to ask you guys a few questions about each of these steps to get you to kind of self-reflect and see how you can apply it to yourself. So as we dive in, the very first step is this. It says, we should treat every tiny grain of sand, every piece of vegetable, as a spiritual manifestation, and should never waste them in the process of choosing, preparation, cooking, and eating. So in other sense, use everything that nature has given you to cook. So when I started reflecting on this one for myself, I realized I've come a long way. I used to waste a lot of food. I remember even cooking with my besties, and like I'm chopping up my peppers to make them all the perfect size, and I'm leaving the top end in the butt. They're like, "What are you doing?" You know, and so we're all like eating the butts and the top ends of the peppers. But slowly over time, I really learned the importance of honoring every single aspect of the food process. So something that I do now is that if I'm going to cut off those tops and those butts of my food, whether it's carrots or whether it's onions or whether it's even mushrooms and herbs and all this stuff, I take all those butt ends and throw them in a big plastic bag. And then I take that big plastic Ziploc freezer bag and I throw it in the freezer. And I start to collect all of the different odds and ends of my vegetables that I'm not going to use. And then after I have a full big huge freezer plastic bag full of those ends of my vegetables, I add them into a soup pot with a whole bunch of water, some spices and some herbs, and I make myself a vegetable broth. I've actually done videos on this. I think it's in this group, and if it's not in this group, it's on my Whole and Healthy Kitchen page, but I will track it down for you and find you guys because I give you the recipes of how to do that. But that's just a way to, make sure you use every last bit of food that is given you to use so we're not wasting. So my question for you is, how do you not waste food? Or do you waste food? And if so, how could you not waste food anymore? I would be very curious as to what you guys do to help yourselves to not waste food. Let me know below. So let's move right along. We're moving right along to number 2. And this one says that before and after we eat, we should dedicate our hearty gratitude for the food which has come from the infinite universe, materializing in the form of this meal. And we should dedicate our endless thanks to nature and the universe, as well as to society, which has made our existence possible at this moment. Further, we should dedicate our deep appreciation to the people who prepared this meal, beginning from the cultivation, through the transportation and processing, and then to the final stage of the cooking and the serving of the meal. Do you see how united this thought system is? Like how inclusive this thought system is? This is why this is the path to universal health and happiness, because it includes everyone in your thinking, right? So it's saying, like, first of all, give thanks to the infinite universe that materialized this food to begin with. Like, it's magical if you have a garden and you take one seed and you put that seed in the ground and it grows a vegetable. Like, it is a miracle that we can have food like this on this planet. And so it deserves appreciation and our gratitude. Hello, Bern. Welcome. I'm grateful to you as we're talking about gratitude in this section. So you notice what a united perspective this takes. So we're first saying, like, thank you, universe, thank you, God, whatever language works for you, for materializing this food to be able to even be a meal on my plate. And we are grateful to society for creating such an infrastructure that I can go to the store and buy my fruits and vegetables and buy my food and buy my meat in the way that I want to. Even my services, like my Fresh Box Market and like my Butcher Box, making meals easy for me to have at my door. We didn't have this that many years ago. This is something that we must be very, very, very grateful for and conscious of, that this is what is happening. We're including everybody in our thinking here. And then there's also a deep appreciation that comes to everybody that had a hand in the cultivation of the food, the bringing it to our plate, the making of the food, the cook, the chef, and then all the family who are there to even allow it to happen, the people who made the money to buy the food that we have. Gratitude should be for every single person along the chain that brought the food to your plate. Like, how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? I wanted to add one more thing of gratitude here, because a lot of the time, there's sometimes what I do is I will just take a moment to just close my eyes, and I also become grateful to my little me. Like, I'm trying to use it as a time to connect with, my inner self, my younger child, and also bring gratitude to her for all the lessons and things that she learned to be where I am today, and also to bring some sort of, the things that I maybe learned when I was little that was not most helpful. Thank you for those lessons, but I don't need them anymore, kind of idea. So that's something that I add onto here as well. So I wanted to ask you guys, what is it that you do, or do you yet have a gratitude practice that is part of your eating? I know a lot of people will pray before their meals. We do our best to pray before our meals together as a family. I would love to hear how you bring gratitude to your meal, and if you have thought about this idea of including so many people and things and the universe into our gratitude when we are eating the meal, and see how important that is. I would love to hear your thoughts on gratitude with this meal. Number 3, while we are eating, we should chew thoroughly in order to both physicalize and spiritualize what we are eating, maintaining in our mind constant self-reflection whether we are worthy to consume these foods. and maintaining our clear awareness that we shall devote our physical and spiritual activity, which shall come from this food, for the benefit of society and for all people, and for harmony with nature and the universe. Another mind-blowing idea, and this is really an important one that I've like starred 100 times. This seems to be the biggest thing that my students and my clients come to me with, is feeling this unworthiness of eating such good food, this unworthiness of enjoying like a well-balanced meal, and that has to come, you know, with our culture, where we are taught that we are not good enough at anything, we're not worthy of anything. But when we are taking a spiritual approach and we remember ourselves as souls first, right, as children of God first, then what that allows us to do is really question, am I worthy of these foods or not? And from that spiritual perspective, we realize that yes, you are. You better believe that you're worthy of these foods. You are so worthy of these foods. And it's also saying that when you eat these foods from this perspective of being worthy, of it nourishing your spiritual nature as well as physical, that then the energy that you have that ends up in this body then can then be used to bless other people, to help other people, to serve society, to serve our universe, to nature, and bring harmony to all of it. So that really links up with the universal laws of giving as you would receive, and knowing that when you nourish your body and your body is sustained by this food and this energy, that then you can use that energy that is now in your body to give to other people and to serve other people. Like, there's nothing more beautiful than this. And this is really like the heart and the core of why I do what I do, because I've realized spirituality has been left out of the food process, and it's really just become a quick, fast-paced, really easy, I don't have time idea that happens around food, and we miss all the other aspects of what food could do for us and could do for our planet. And so this is powerful topic. It's so beautiful. So let me know what of that, like if that section that I just read about contemplating while you're eating your worth for eating this food, and if you've ever contemplated this idea, if you've ever questioned this, it's a really important thing to really bring light to and be like, wow, like I'm worthy of this and so are other people. So I'm going to eat this meal to nourish myself so I can nourish other people. Beautiful. So number 4, when we end our eating, so when we're done eating, we should be aware clearly that we have shared it with family and friends. Eating together, drinking together, it's now producing a similar quality in our blood and in our body and our thought and in our movement, and we should extend this consciousness to every person living in our society and in our world, thinking of all of them as one family of the earth and of the universe. Yes. I want to highlight this section that this doesn't even necessarily mean that you need to be eating with people at the same table at the same time. If you're, for example, living by yourself right now, or you have, family members who live further away, this is something that could also be spiritual in nature. Brenda was actually mentioning on the post where I announced I was going to do this video today about how when she makes a meal, she takes a picture of her meal and she shares it with her family, and her family does the same thing. And so they're still able to share in the act of food and the act of extending that food to others, even if they're not in the same physical place. And I think what's really important to remember about this as well is the idea of contemplating that our love for society and for the world and for our family and for the earth and for the universe as being like one being, and allowing that to be what we think of when we're finishing off our meal. Okay, that's just a way of keeping the integrity of the meal alive, keeping our conscious being present, and that will always nourish us in body, mind, and spirit deeper than just having a meal, whatever it might be. Even if it's the most nutritious meal on the planet, if you haven't engaged your mental and your spiritual well-being into that food, it's not going to do anything for you. So it's really important to have them all together. Burned, and remember to contemplate and accept your self-love / worth when in junk food mode. Oh my God, yes, 100,000,000%. And that could be some of the hardest times, because when we do lean into having more junk food, which happens for everybody, even me, especially when it comes to my time of the month, that is the time where we need to be gentle with ourselves and give ourselves grace and give ourselves compassion, and to know that these foods are here and taste so good, and it's really okay to enjoy the fruits of life. Like, it's really okay to enjoy that cake. It's really okay to enjoy those cookies, but it's also in the context of love, like you're saying, of knowing that, okay, this is what I'm feeling I want right now, and I'm going to fully enjoy it. If we're just going to eat it and then feel guilty, it's not coming from a place of love. It's still coming from the place of ego that wants to self-sabotage you. But if it's coming from a place of like, oh my goodness, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this right now, then do it. For example, I am going to go pick up some more flour so I can make more of my sourdough bread. I have 2 loaves on my counter, proofing, ready to bake. We are all worthy of the delicious bread that we put in the oven, or you can just buy at the store. But when I'm going to get this flour from the store, I'm also picking up 4 croissants so that my family can share in them together and enjoy in that process together. We're going to eat them one bite at a time and really, really love it. And that's part of what it is in bringing the spiritual component too. So this isn't saying never eat junk food. This is saying eat junk food, being consciously aware of it, enjoying every single bite, and love the shit out of that dessert, out of that junk food, out of that snack. It's supposed to be joyful and loving. And I find that when you do that, bring love to the junk food, then you're satisfied and you don't really need to eat anymore. But when you don't bring that conscious awareness to the junk food, then you're forever wanting more. And it's a never ending pit of trying to fill it. And I've been there. I have deeply, deeply been there. Anshuman, buying only what we need, storing food wisely, making a weekly schedule. This is the core. Everything you just said is like the core of my kitchen alchemy course, right? I teach people how to buy only what they need, to store their food wisely, and to make a weekly schedule. I find that that is the rhythm that we need to get into when we are in the kitchen in order to have us be present with the food, to have these spiritual experiences imbued into every bite and every step in the cooking and eating and even cleaning process. So those are super, super, super important, and we want to star everything that you just said, because when we bring this conscious awareness of like, okay, how can I most nourish myself and my family, think of a plan of what we're going to eat that week, go and buy that food, and then store it properly and consciously, then everything is available for us to make those choices. And then if we are going to have that junk food, then it is a very conscious choice if we're going to do that or not, because it's not already existing in our home. So we have to go out and get it. So that's a really good point, Anshuman. Thank you for pointing that out, because that helps with the whole, is this decision coming from love or fear, and making sure that it's coming from love to the best of our ability. But if we do have things that do come from fear, to be gentle with ourselves and to love ourselves and to forgive ourselves and to have compassion with ourselves, because it's really okay. It's absolutely 100% okay. Okay, beautiful souls. This is the last thought. Ready? It says, during the meal, we should never leave any food remaining on the dish, and after the meal, we should wash our own dishes and utensils and keep them in a beautiful order with silent thanks for the efficient service in making it possible for us to consume these foods. Beautiful. So let's tease this away a little bit, because I have also found like the idea of like, you have to eat all your food can be counterproductive when you're trying to learn how to listen to eat intuitively, because you don't want to overstuff just because the food's there. So I've found for us, what it means is having smaller dinner plates and having a smaller portion of food and finishing off that smaller portion of food instead of having such a big plate. And what this is also saying is that the cleanup process could be just as sacred as the buying food, as the making food, as the eating food. That the cleaning process needs to be part of that sacred experience, and again, done in gratitude that I even had the ability to eat on this plate, to eat in this home, to eat in this kitchen, to eat this delicious meal with my beautiful family, with my own soul. And so there's just lots of gratitude that needs to be brought into this process. And the thing about gratitude, you guys, is it's life-changing. Like it literally allows you to have your perception on what is working and what is going well and what is a blessing and what is nourishing and true, and then everything else seems to fall away. So I think what's important to point out about these 5 steps is these are markers for where we want to go. It's part of our goal. It's not meant to make you feel bad. It's not meant to make you feel like you've done anything wrong. It's not meant to make you feel like you're less than. It's meant to make you feel like, oh my God, there is a way to live and be and breathe in my kitchen that is filled with love and happiness and gratitude and health that fuels not only me, but my family and our whole society and our planet. So to know that that's our end goal and that's where we're working towards, and that every single day we get in the kitchen to make a meal is an opportunity to decide to reach this goal that we're talking about, or to choose something else. But ultimately we realize that it benefits you and me and our children and our world when we eat with love and we eat with conscious awareness and we eat with gratitude. And so we really want to remember these things when we're going about the process of buying and making and serving and eating and cleaning the food. It's a whole process. It's a whole system. Whole and healthy kitchen, right? So that's it, my beautiful friends. I was really called to read this today. It really speaks deeply to me. I would love to hear what part speaks to you the most. Maybe what part you want to work on the most, because I know there are lots of things that we can improve, but lots of things we also want to be grateful for that we're doing already. And so I would love to hear both of those sides from you. And so this is, and by the way, the one that I need to work on the most is chewing slowly. I'm not the best at chewing slowly. The food is so dang good that I just woof it down. So number one thing that I'm really working on is to chew slowly and to be more mindful with that and to be very conscious with every single bite, knowing that when I chew, that is releasing an enzyme called amylase, and that is helping my body to break down that food so I can properly digest that food and feel better overall, healthier overall. So chewing slow is a very spiritual and mindful act, and I really encourage it for myself as well. So that's going to be the number one thing that I work on this week. So I would love to know what you guys are going to work on this week in this section. So thank you guys for being with me. My goal was 20 minutes. I'm at 20 minutes and 30 seconds. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments. I will be sure to check back and keep an eye on it all. I love you guys. Happy eating, healthy eating. God bless. Bye.